We got some huge My Hero Academia movie 4 news today, as we got confirmation from Kohei Horikoshi himself that the fourth My Hero Academia movie is currently in the works. But that isn't all, as we got confirmation as to when exactly this movie takes place during the My Hero Academia timeline, and it's actually kind of insane. But before I continue, if you're new to the channel, then be sure to subscribe along with turning on that notification bell so that you don't miss any My Hero Academia movie 4 news and My Hero Academia videos. Now, alongside the release of the latest chapter of My Hero Academia, it was announced that there would be a fourth My Hero Academia movie, and oh boy, do we get some big news regarding the movie. Thanks to translator Rukasu MHA, Horikoshi's comment regarding the fourth movie reads as is. Hello everyone, I'm Kohei Horikoshi, author of My Hero Academia. A fourth movie for My Hero Academia has just been confirmed, and that's thanks to your support. Thank you so much. Bones and Toho are already working on new seasons of the anime non-stop, so I was really surprised when they told me that there would be a new movie. I couldn't help but think back to my childhood when a new Dragon Ball movie was released every year. Those made me so excited that I remember sitting in the movie theater with my heart racing like crazy. So I hope the new generation of kids around the world can enjoy this movie just as much as me back then. It'll take place after the war from season 6, meaning that the collapsed society will be the stage this time. After having been through so much and learning so many things, who will Deku and his friends fight against this time? What will they protect? Look forward to it. Now, this is just insane because, as stated by Horikoshi, the movie will take place after the Paranormal Liberation War in the now collapsed society, which means that the tone and feel for this movie will be a lot more darker than the others, as society pretty much hates heroes at this point in the series. And I feel this movie, especially if it's canon and taking place during the Dark Deku arc, will most likely make a lot of fans look at the Dark Deku arc a lot differently, as the main complaint from many was that it felt like Deku going rogue was cut really short and rushed through so that he could just make it back to UA and Class 1A as fast as possible. I also just can't see where else this movie could fall in place after the war arc. It just makes the most sense to have this movie take place during the Dark Deku arc. But of course, I'm open to hearing from you guys where this movie could also take place in besides the Dark Deku arc. So if this is the case, that the movie does end up taking place specifically during the time Deku went rogue, that would mean that Class 1A would have no involvement in the movie at all, since it's pretty much implied that when Deku left UA, that was the last time that they had seen him until the Deku retrieval arc. But hold on, in Horikoshi's statement on the fourth movie, it says, who will Deku and his friends fight against this time? And that could really mean anybody. As we know, in that specific time frame, Deku was working closely with All Might, Best Jeanist, Endeavor, and Hawks, so they could easily be the friends that were mentioned in Horikoshi's statement. And I would honestly prefer to go down this route anyways, as we could see some of these pro heroes get more of a spotlight and do something incredible with movie budget fight scenes. Plus, we could also get more insight into the mental health of these pro heroes, as society blames them for what happened during the war. For the main villain of the movie, it will most likely end up being someone from Tartarus who was held in the same cell block as All For One. That way we get the feeling that the villain for the movie is an actual threat and not some run-of-the-mill villain. As another complaint fans had too during the Dark Deku arc was that the hired guns that All For One had sent after Deku were pretty much handled relatively easily, being shown to have been defeated within single panels, aside from Lady Nagant, or even Muscular, though he wasn't necessarily a hired gun to begin with. We could also see potentially a villain rising from the ashes of the collapsed society, where we just see how badly the war and society's collapse really affected certain people and groups, and how maybe all of this loss had greatly impacted their mental state. Of course, as with the trend of My Hero Academia movies, there will most likely be a set of brand new characters aside from the villains who get dragged into the conflict between the heroes and villains. And even though Horikoshi's statement didn't give a whole lot of detail about the movie aside from its setting, I would like to speculate that maybe the movie could introduce this Filipino woman who makes a small appearance in the manga. Again, it's just speculation, but I always found it really weird that this woman got her her own dedicated panel showing her in the Philippines praying for the heroes to win. I get that in the final war we do see a lot of people's reactions to the war, but something always felt a little off on why it was only just her praying. Maybe she could be someone who was in Japan at the time of the collapse and was just trying to get back home to the Philippines, and that's when she runs into Deku. I could totally be wrong about that, and it just could be a Filipino woman who just was praying for this neighboring country. Now, when it comes to this movie being announced, I should address a huge concern that has risen up because of it, and the main concern that tends to get brought up every time a movie gets announced is how will this movie affect the production and quality of the upcoming season, that being season 7. To be honest, I don't think the movie is going to affect season 7 all that much, because if we take a look all the way back to September 2022, Horikoshi actually teased the 4th movie right before the release of season 6 of the anime, which tells us that this movie had been in the works for possibly quite some time before this official announcement. And regardless, I don't think Bones is willing to risk any sort of negativity plaguing what could be the final season of My Hero Academia, as that season will contain the series' most important fights. As some of you already know, I'm a very optimistic guy, so I do have faith that this will all work out for the quality of the 7th season and the movie. That's pretty much all the news regarding the 4th My Hero Academia movie. I hope I was able to clear certain concerns and was able to give some good insight as to what we could potentially see in the movie. I'm very excited to see a movie take place within the collapsed society, as I honestly think this will end up being one of the more darker and serious movies that will come out of My Hero Academia. And I'm really looking forward to just seeing a movie set within this time frame, because if Deku versus Lady Nagant is anything to go by, then we can expect some really good fight scenes taking place within the ruined cities. Thanks for tuning into this My Hero Academia video. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it, and to subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.